Hello there and welcome to Who's Who TV. Today I am with the Lyndal Harris, Master of Podcasters. How are you doing today, Lyndal?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Good.
Did I kind of set you up a little bit too much with Master of Podcasters?
Yeah, I kind of don't go down that path, but yeah.
It's a very grandiose term.
It is, so thank you.
Awesome. Okay, so tell us a little bit more about what you do. So you don't have a podcast, but you help podcasters produce their show and work on their strategy and how to market and get it all set up and kind of get their voice out there, right?
I do, yes. Yep. So I, about 3 years ago, helped one of my clients launch the Australian Podcasting Conference, and just got into networks of podcasters and realised that there wasn't a lot of support out there from a virtual assistant's point of view, which I used to be a virtual assistant who did content marketing, and decided about 18 months ago to niche into podcasters support.
Awesome. Okay, and that's with VA podcast or Podcast VA, right?
Podcast VA, yes.
Right. Okay. Awesome. And you do that. You're the only one in Australia that does that, right?
I am the only one who's niched into just doing podcast support. Yeah, there are other VAs out there who can do or who do support podcasters, but at this stage, yeah, I'm still the only one who's niched into that.
Fantastic. It seems like you're the only one in the race at the moment. I mean, there's so many podcasters out there at the moment. It's kind of the market's flooded at the moment, so I imagine a lot of people need assistance and help kind of getting their show out there.
Yeah. Well, there's so much that goes to having a podcast. You know, there's not only the audio editing, but you need to have show notes and you want to have graphics done and you need to publish it and post it everywhere. So there's lots of different elements that go into project managing just one episode, and it's really important to be consistent. So having somebody to help you do that and keep your consistency and everything is really important.
Oh no, okay. And also, so how did you get into that then Podcast VA? Why did you start it up? Was there a story behind that?
Well, as I said, I was a VA I've been a VA for about 7 years, and that was really just came about from wanting to be at home with kids, and was in content marketing, got into podcasting networks when I helped launch the conference, and I just realised that there's so much support that podcasters need, and there wasn't anyone really filling that gap. And so when I niched, it's grown really well, and it's grown quite organically. So.
Fantastic. Okay, so then for other podcasters out there, either newly starting or they've been going for years, what would be the one tip that you could give to help them? Maybe a little mistake they make.
Okay, so for new podcasters, I would go the number one tip would be have a strategy, have a really clear purpose, know who you're talking to, what your target market is, and know what pain you're fixing for them and what
Interesting.
Message.
So they've got to be giving a solution, so they need to understand a problem they kind of talk around.
Yeah, or just knowing what your strategy is and your objectives, so that as you keep going through your podcasting journey, you know exactly what your filter is and exactly why you're doing it. And you can come back to that all the time if you need to make decisions.
Okay. And a random one, what is the funniest podcaster name or podcast show name that you've heard before?
Oh, gosh, okay.
If I was going to do one on Tom Hanks, it'd be Podcast Away. You know what I mean? Cast Ales, there's one there, Podcast Ales. These have all been taken. It's like trying to find a domain name. It's really hard to find it.
So I'm not really quite as creative as you, but
I'm making them up. I wonder if you heard some.
Yeah, look, as far as show names are concerned, I'm trying to think of show names. I know.
I thought I'd put you on the spot.
I always get a laugh by looking at Dr. Carl's episode names. So go and look up Dr. Carl and go and have a look at the episode names that he has in iTunes, because they are hilarious.
Fantastic. Okay. Well, thank you very much for being on the show today, Lyndal. And where can people find you? Any aspiring podcasters or anyone that wants to get in touch and have you help them out?
You can find me on my website, which is podcastva.com. I also have a Facebook page, Instagram, and I'm on LinkedIn as Lyndal Harris.
And you also run meetup groups too.
I do run meetup group. I run a Brisbane Podcasters meetup group. So if you're based here in the southeast Queensland area, we meet once a month on the last Wednesday of every month. So we would love to have you along.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for being on the show again, and have a great day.
Yeah, thanks very much.
All right, good.